Happy Saturday. Today is April the 11th, 2026. Welcome back to the Roadmap to Freedom Personal Growth Healing Program. Today I am continuing to talk about tools for a stronger you. And the subject today is responsibility. Taking responsibility for yourself and your feelings and your emotions and your actions will actually give you more personal power. It empowers you. It stops the blame game. You move from victim to a target to a survivor. Okay, so I have mentioned many times before, you cannot control anybody else. You can only control yourself. It's not your responsibility to make anyone happy, and it's not anyone's responsibility to make you happy. It's an inside job. And as you grow in your self-worth, you will realize this. You and you alone are the only person in control of your life. Now, some people might say that's not true. And you in a way, you're correct. Like, for instance, you go to work and you get fired or you get laid off. That's out of your control. But how you react and what you do moving forward from that day of losing your employment is your responsibility. You may have done nothing to get laid off. Perhaps the company is having financial difficulties. That's not your fault. But it is your responsibility to accept the circumstance in your life and rise from it. Does that make sense? You and you alone are the cause of your feelings, your emotions. I've talked about this before. No one can make you feel inferior. No one can make you feel inferior without your permission. And that's a hard one because, with me, I was being beaten down emotionally, but I allowed it to happen. Once I started to grow, once I started to realize my self-worth, I realized that that was my responsibility. If somebody tried to do that to me today, they're in for a shock because I'm walking the other way. I'm not putting up with that. It causes low self-esteem, but only if you allow it. And I allowed it, So don't beat yourself up if you allowed that. Oh, boy. If somebody is telling you that it's your fault, that you messed up, you did something, you took an action to hurt them or hurt somebody in their family or hurt the friend or whatever, that's not true. That's what they believe. But can they control you? If you've done something or said something, intentionally or unintentionally, and they're feeling hurt or they're feeling angry, is that your responsibility? No, it's not. They've placed themselves in victim mode. They themselves have to rise. So, you can turn your life around. Let me see. I can't remember whether I've ever talked about this or not, but one of the turning points in my life when I had left my ex is that I was at a soccer game. And my ex had been, doing terrible, terrible things to upset me, and it was working. I was pretty low in my life. I wasn't feeling good about myself, but, still, it was my responsibility. And we had arranged through the lawyer that he would give me a check, and I was giving him some sort of piece of paper, a rebate or something. And because we were splitting up, we were going to take 50-50 on the rebate. So I gave it to him at the soccer game, my son's soccer game, in front of a whole bunch of parents, in front of a whole bunch of kids. And I says, now give me, have you got the check? He says, I'm not giving you a check. And for, half of what he agreed that he was going to pay me. And I had enough. I was having a bad day. And I got very angry. And he was very good at manipulating me. And he was always trying to raise my anger. And on this day, he absolutely did. And he started laughing at me and in front of everybody. And I'd had enough. And I took the pen and I stabbed him in the chest. Did I draw blood? No, I didn't even break skin, but that's not the point. It was a terrible thing to do, and I can laugh about it now, but I certainly can laugh about it then. And so, people around him started to laugh because he had been clucking about me and how terrible of a person I was, and on and on and on and on. So, they had ganged up on me more or less, and I started to cry. I broke down crying, and I left the soccer game, and I was at home crying, trying to pull myself together. And a knock came on the door, and it was one of the moms of one of my son's friends. And she says, can I come in? I says, yes. And she says, I'm really sorry what happened at soccer. I saw what happened, and I just wanted to let you know that I, for one, was very concerned about you. And I knew in my heart of hearts that he must have done something to make you do something like that. She says, because I know you better than that. And this was just a casual friend of a year or two. And so we talked a little bit, and I thanked her, and she gave me a hug, and then she left, and I sat down, and I was thinking about it, and I thought, never, as long as I live, will I ever allow him to get to me like that. I accept responsibility for what I did. I should not have punched him in the chest with a pen. I'm sorry, it's funny now. I should not have done that, and I never did it again. And he never managed to make a spectacle of me again, and that's what I call an aha moment. So when you are on your personal growth journey and you're trying to rise, you're going to fall down from time to time. That was one of my biggest falls, and I learned from it. As I've said many times before, mistakes are learning what not to do next time. So give yourself a break, do the best that you can do, take responsibility for your actions, go home, cry, think about it. If you fall down and you break down and you tripped up, because you're gonna trip up. You're trying to change yourself. And in changing yourself, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to trip up. You're going to run into hurdles. And eventually you're going to get this. When we were babies and we learned to crawl, and then we learned to walk, we fell down a lot. This is no different. Give yourself a break. Until tomorrow, have a wonderful evening. Namaste.